Hi, and welcome to Hoffman's Hot Seat. I'm Tom Hoffman with One-to-One Media, coming to you from the inContact Customer Conference, ICUC 2012, here in Salt Lake City. And I'm joined today by Paul Jarman, CEO of inContact. And today, Paul and I will be talking about the key characteristics that are shaping the contact center of the future. Paul, thanks so much for joining us.
It's good to have you. It's good for you to be here, and thanks for coming.
Yeah, thanks for having me. So, Paul, maybe we could start there. If you could tell us a little bit about the key trends that you see shaping the contact center of the future.
You bet. So first of all, what we see is a couple big macro trends. There's mobile, there's social, there's the need for more self-service, and there's also this whole idea of the cloud. How do companies use the cloud to make it easier to be successful with the technologies they deploy? And that gets you the last big trend we see is data. How do people use all this new data that's now available, either structured or unstructured, to make a better contact center?
Sure. So with that, as you know, more and more contact centers are making use of social media to connect with customers and provide them with customer service. I'm wondering if you could offer some starting points for companies as they go down this path, particularly as they try to integrate social into their support strategies.
You bet. So first of all, there's a really basic one, which is first, make sure you handle each customer contact well, so that you don't have bad social experiences where bad experiences get online, get tweeted, or bad things can happen when unhappy customers go and tell the world. After that, then there's a couple things to do. The first thing is just to listen out there what people are saying about you. That would be one. Two would be to start to learn how to respond to them, how to help them, how to solve their problems when you hear them making statements online. Three would be you can start to market to them. On your Facebook pages, with Twitter and other areas, you can actually communicate out to a broad audience that's really socially capable. And I would say that's the best place to start.
So, and by listening to them, I assume this could also include the use of analytics to pick up on customer sentiments and then react accordingly.
That's right. So what we see is first is use analytics and sentiment to hear what's coming at you and to find it. And then route it to the right professionals in the company that can act on it and respond back to it.
Okay, thanks. So if we could, why don't we segue to talk about people for a moment?
Yeah.
And if you could, share with us how agents and agent training and agent resources will need to be handled differently to support the contact center of the future.
Well, so we're seeing two things. First of all, there's more self-service where the more basic calls can be handled automatically without a person. But because of that, the other calls or reasons people are contacting the contact center are more sophisticated. So it's putting more burden on the agent to know more and to provide a better experience. So we're seeing, first of all, the use of at-home agents that have particular skills that you can find that make the training easier. We're seeing that you can use tools today to hire the right agents without a lot of pain in process. We're also seeing tools in training where you can do real-time, short training modules and bring them right to the agent's seat. So they're not going out for 3 hours in a training room. They learn it quickly, they get tested on it immediately, and that process, we find that the younger agents learn better that way. That would be a couple of things that we would do.
Okay, thanks. You know, as an aside, I was speaking to an inContact customer client earlier today over lunch, and she had mentioned that her company has close to 1,000 at-home agents right now, which must be quite a challenge trying to manage such a distributed group like that.
It can be really hard, but there is now tools in place to do that well, where you can deliver that training right to that at-home location. They can do it right in conjunction with their ACD and the calls that they take, and they can be tested right there without having to be on a premise in a classroom. So it is possible. It's never easy, but that can be done today, and it can be done quite well.
Sure. So while we're talking about inContact clients, are there any that you can point to that you feel are already demonstrating traits of the contact center of the future and doing this well?
You know, we see a lot of them doing great things. So we see some really successful today in mining data and using that data to make decisions with their customers, such as how to route them, how to respond back to them, how to train their reps. We see some companies doing some great things in social. We see some of our companies that have really got sophisticated at-home workforces, where they have 600 or 700 agents all at home, all working in different aspects of the customer service or contact center market. And that they're trained, they're happy, they're staying, they're competent. So we're seeing some really nice areas in at-home workers. We're also seeing that companies are getting better at mapping their customer journey. So they know the key points in the customer cycle that are important for retention or for upsell or cross-sell, and they've really mapped out the right interactions for the right parts of the process.
Which I would think also includes looking at the different channels that customers are using as they interact with companies, being able to understand and react to that.
No, that's absolutely right. So we see that part of that customer mapping is to say what channel do they prefer and what demographics prefer different channels and what interactions are best for you with what channel. So mapping the customer journey and the use of channels at the same time can be a real key part of giving the right experience, but still at the right price at the same time or cost.
Thanks. So as companies are preparing to go down this path for building the contact center of the future, what would you say are some starting points?
Well, first of all, I would say is understand your customer. Sometimes we make all these changes without asking our customers what they would like. And I think that's the first step, is sometimes we see people use some surveys or some focus groups to understand what their customers really want from the company. Once you have that, then I would map out what's the process that really satisfies them. And then there's great tools out there, ours and others, that can help them really layer in easy-to-use technology that can make those plans or maps possible.
Great. Well, Paul, thanks so much for sharing these insights with us today.
Well, thank you, and thanks for the interview, and thanks for being here at ICUC.
Thank you.